Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is episode number 14 of the Unreal Engine Beginner series, and in today's video, if you remember in the last video we had this system where we had like spawning enemies kind of like at specific intervals of time, and you can just go ahead and try to fight them, and then you can go ahead and try to kill the other enemy. Yeah, and then you can go and try to kill this one. Ouch. And you can try to kill all of the other enemies, but the problem is currently that the enemies that are being spawned are like at the same place, so they are not like changing places, they are like being spawned at exactly the same place, which is not what we want. So this enemy spawns, another enemy spawns like right beside it, and this is not something that we want. We actually wanted to spawn enemies at like correct locations, like we wanted to spawn enemies randomly around the place. So how are we going to do that? Well, for this we are going to open up our we are going to close everything, and I'm going to open up my enemy spawner. Now in here we are going to use something called an array. Now what is an array? An array, you should be familiar with it if you have like programmed before. An array is basically like a bunch of it's basically like a list of objects in one variable. So a list of variables in one variable. So we have got a list of stuff, but it's all in one variable. So if I go into the enemy spawner and I create a new variable and I call these spawn points. Okay. And the spawn point is going to be a type of transform, which basically means something that has got a rotation, location and scale. And for the spawn points we haven't got like one point here, but you can go ahead and you can click here and you can change this to an array, and as soon as you do that, it becomes an array. And basically what you need to do is you need to go under here, you need to get the spawn points, and then you can use the function called get a copy. Now this basically returns you a copy of the array to use of whatever element of the array you specify. In order to find the correct element, what you are going to do is you are going to go ahead we are going to spawn randomly, and in order to get a random number in Unreal Engine, what you do is you go ahead and say random integer in range. And by the way, for this you are going to get the length of the array. Now this length of the array basically tells you the amounts of amount of variables, elements that are in the array. And then what you need to do with that is you need to go ahead and basically get a random integer between the length and the between the length and the max. And by the way, this will be inclusive, so you will need to subtract one from this, because this is like inclusive, which will cause problems, because for arrays indexing starts at 0. So the first element of the array is at index 0, and then the next element is at index 1, and so on. So basically what we basically do is we take this random integer and plug that in here, and that basically returns us our spawn transform. Now basically let me show you how it's actually working. So we have got our spawn points, and we take the length of that, and then we subtract 1 from that length, and then we plug that into the maximum. So if the length is 1, then if the length is like 5, so we have got 5 elements in our array, then we will just get 4 elements in here. So basically, yeah, you will get from 0 to 4, because the first element is 0 and the next is 1. So basically this will, and then we will use this random integer to get the actual element of that particular index, and then we are going to use that to spawn. Now if the array is at 0 elements, it will cause problems, but we will fix that. Now the problem is that you can't actually modify the array from here. So if I just put this at 0 0 0, then you can't actually let me just, by the way, hit control Z. What's not working? Control Z. Okay. Okay, basically if I try to go ahead in the and select this enemy spawner, and I try to like let me just move this around here and a bit up. If I try to we cannot actually change this in here, but we want to have the ability to change these spawn points in every scene. All you need to do is, you can see this kind of I variable, I button here, just click that I, and once you do that, you can see we have got our spawn points in under this default tab. In the details we have got our spawn points, and we can add as many elements as we want here. So for the first one, you want the scale to be 1 and the rotation to be 0, and you just need to change the location. I'm going to copy the current location of the enemy, and I'm going to paste it in here. Yeah. And then I'm going to by the way, I'm going to make this back at 0 0 0, the enemy spawner. And then for number 1 we are going to change this to be like exactly the same, except the fact that the location on the x-axis will not be negative, so it will basically be on the other side of the ground now. And that's pretty awesome. And for the number 2 we are going to take this, and then we are going to plug this into the y instead of the x, which will make it at that this corner, basically make it stand at this corner. I'm going to change this from 1550 to 1250, and yeah, that looks a bit better. I'm going to add another element, and then I'm going to make this like it. So we are going to make it at this position, but we are going to make the y negative. So making the y negative will make it like this. So if I play now, what you should see is that basically we are raided from all 4 directions. The first enemy spawns from here, and the second enemy should spawn from somewhere else. Oh, it has already spawned, and it spawns from somewhere else, but the problem is you can see that the enemy is facing the wrong way when it spawns there. So you can basically change that by rotating it on the x-axis 90 degrees. So if we are standing like if I play, I am kind of my player, so basically the rotation might be a bit of a problem, and you need to basically rotate your enemy to face the correct direction, but apart from that everything else should be working. Now in order to fix that, you must understand that like if I hit play and I wait for a little while, by the way, if I like select my player start, you can see it's basically facing the positive x-axis, so I'm facing the x-axis right now, and the enemy is supposed to have spawned already, and he spawns from like the left of me, and that is facing the right direction. From the left he was facing the right direction, and from the right he seems to be facing the right direction as well. Okay, so the problem is that we have got this, and if I select like my enemy spawner, you basically have got you can basically need to change the rotation on, I think, this one. Just make it like 180 degrees on the z-axis, the rotation, so that it's turned around 80 degrees. So if I do that, then basically everything should be kind of working. Yeah, it is, and you can try to like shoot enemies from all sides and try to get rid of them, and this is gonna be an interesting game. So yeah, this is kind of, our game is almost complete. We have got like a basic game, something that you could call a game, working, and I think now it's time to well, basically in the next videos we will be finishing our game, adding the remaining stuff, and we'll learn how to build the game and to kind of like turn it into an playable executable that you can give to your friends. So we'll see in the next video, and make sure to like and subscribe, and also share this video with other people, the whole series with other people who want to learn Unreal Engine, and bye.